For 60 years, the Queen's reign has been recorded not only by news cameras, but also in home movie footage shot by members of the public. For decades, many of these amateur films have remained unseen in attics, cineclub collections, and film archives. Put together, these home movies provide a unique portrait of a changing Britain and of its monarch. In this episode, we recall the Queen's Silver Jubilee tour of 1977.
I just couldn't believe it. I mean, how many 12-year-old girls, you know, who get to meet the Queen?
And as the nation celebrates the Diamond Jubilee, we unearth long-lost footage showing how past generations also came together to celebrate Her Majesty's reign.
I've never seen anybody in the village get together like they did that day.
You just can't explain the euphoria you could not hear.
The Queen is one of the most photographed people on the planet. For 6 decades, her every public appearance has been captured on film. But footage from her early years shows a very different person to the public figure we know today. This home movie of 10-year-old Princess Elizabeth and younger sister Margaret shows a childhood free from the burden of responsibility.
This footage shows a time of incredible innocence in their lives. Princess Elizabeth, she's just playing in a carefree way. She's got no idea she's going to be Queen.
But by the time she reached her 20s, Elizabeth was already attending royal engagements, and in 1947 she set sail on her first ever official foreign trip.
For her 21st birthday, the princess at that time got a trip of a lifetime, and she went with her father and her sister and her mother on HMS Vanguard. And aboard there was a cameraman, and the footage that he captured on that journey is absolutely priceless. It's one of the sweetest, most revealing pieces of footage, I think, that we've got at the Queen.
The crew of HMS Vanguard suddenly found themselves with some very important guests on board.
She was absolutely beautiful. She was the best-looking girl I've seen in all my years.
I was doing my time in the Navy. It was rather nice to suddenly find yourself, I won't say hobnobbing it, but certainly in more superior circles to what one is normally used to.
Far from keeping themselves separate from the ship's company, the 2 young princesses were keen to mix with the crew.
They play with the sailors. They play tig. You can see at one point someone pushes her, and you think, how, you know, that must be amazing. There can't be many times in the Queen's life that she gets pushed around.
I'm at the back there. I'm just keeping myself to myself and avoiding being caught out. It was astonishing seeing the Queen-to-be as a normal person, because that's what she was. You know, you were walking on air. I can't really believe it.
It's a gay moment of happiness. It's incredible insight into the young, girlish Elizabeth, the princess, when she thought no one else was watching. This was a brief moment of freedom for her that she'd be denied later.
I was very lucky. It was one of the happiest times I've had, and I'm proud to have been part of that.
Special memories of a special occasion. And it happened all those years ago. But memory's a fine thing. And that's what it's all about. The memories are there.
On the 2nd of June 1953, following the death of her father, George VI, the previous year, Elizabeth was to be crowned Queen. It was the dawning of a new era for Great Britain.
The coronation was something people have been waiting for a long time. There was huge excitement about seeing the princess in the carriage procession. And people look back on it now who still have a little bit of a tear in their eye when they talk about that very special day.
The official broadcast was seen around the world. But less well known is this home movie footage, shot by one of the royal guests that day, Lord Wakehurst. His film captures what the coronation really meant to the man and woman on the street. many of whom had slept out in the rain in order to get a good view. The film also holds special memories for Lady Jane Rain, who was one of the Queen's 6 maids of honour that day.
It was an amazing day. My whole life, I'll never forget it. When we arrived, we took our places, and when we were all in place, the Queen said, "Come on, girls, let's go now." We turned right and trooped in behind her. The Queen was calm and serene. She was only 26 years old. She looked so, in a way, a bit alone and very vulnerable.
Among the hundreds of people outside the Abbey was naval officer John Shearsmith, who was helping to control the crowds. He managed to grab a few shots of the parade on his cine camera.
My film has captured a lot of the back scene atmosphere, if you like, walking round the route as an ordinary person. I mean, you just can't explain the noise, the euphoria. You could not hear. The noise was unbelievable.
When we're standing on the balcony and looking down the Mall, and everywhere you could see just a sea of people. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. It's a real outpouring of love for the Queen. Incredibly moving.
All across Britain, a new royal era was ushered in, with thousands of street parties and village fetes.
Coronation Day was a big day of partying. It seemed as if the war, the austerity, the drabness, the rationing, it was all behind them. It was a day of plenty.
This previously unseen footage from the Yorkshire towns of Harrogate and Knaresborough was filmed by a member of the local cine club and sums up the joyous atmosphere of the day. Now, for the first time, the film can be enjoyed by those captured on camera. In 1953, Zena Hathaway held the title of Miss Knaresborough and was crowned Coronation Queen for the street parade.
We had decorated floats. Oh, it was absolutely beautiful. The colour in it was lovely. The band was playing. Oh, it was beautiful. Oh, yes, that's the crown I wore. Just makes you go back into the past, but it doesn't die, it stays with you. All these memories. Oh, it was so lovely. It was just like a dream. I'd like to be 17 again.
While Zena was taking part in the parade, Andrea Blaney was celebrating at a nearby street party. It's her earliest childhood memory, and one she's about to see for the first time.
Everybody was excited about the coronation. It was a big, big thing. We had a lovely fancy dress, and of course ice cream. I still remember the feel of that day. For me to be so little to remember that, it must have made a big impact on me.
Oh, it's fabulous.
This is our street. You know, there's me on the drum. It's emotional. It really is. Oh, yes, looking at myself there, eating the ice cream, I think, goodness me. Little girl. Yeah, lovely, happy time.
Still to come on The Queen and I, long-lost footage from the Silver Jubilee of 1977.
This is special, very special. It was a really happy day.
Throughout 2012, the Queen has travelled the country on a nationwide tour to mark her Diamond Jubilee. On the 29th of March, it was the turn of Harrow in North London to roll out the red carpet and hang up the bunting. Hundreds of well-wishers have turned out to see their monarch, many bringing their cameras to capture a personal memento of the day. Among them is Anita Atkinson, one of the Queen's most devoted followers, who has travelled over 250 miles from the northeast of England to be here.
Well, I've seen her on many occasions, and wherever you go, look at them. They've all got a smile on their face. It just gives you this buzz to see this 86-year-old lady who's known throughout the world, and here she is in front of you, and it's just surreal, absolutely surreal.
This is Anita in 1977. Her love of all things royal began when the Queen came to her home city of Durham.
First time I ever went to see the Queen was in 1977 in Silver Jubilee. I went the night before with my friend, and we found a parking space that was near to where the Queen was going to be, and brought out a box of chalk and wrote "No parking" on the road. So managed to manoeuvre the car into it and went to see the Queen, and I was hooked, absolutely hooked.
With her front row view secured, Anita managed to film some shots of the Queen for herself. And this close-up of the Duke of Edinburgh. She even offered him a rose, but he politely declined.
Tell you what, I'd urge every single person that if the Queen comes near you, go and see her, and then you'll understand what I mean.
Anita was just one of hundreds of thousands who turned out to greet the Queen in the summer of 1977. No other sovereign had visited so much of Britain in the course of just 3 months. One of the towns on the Queen's tour was Bootle. Here on Merseyside, it was Don Sykes who captured the visit on film.
I think the whole Bootle and surrounding areas turned out for it. The people are all within touching distance of the cars, which is something that you really wouldn't see today. Everybody wanted to be there and join in. It was a gorgeous day, they were not going to miss it.
One person who certainly wasn't going to miss it was 12-year-old Pat Maloney.
It was the Jubilee and we were all having parties, and I was the Queen of our street. One of the neighbours made the crown, and then one of our other neighbours lent me the wedding dress and shoes. And all the different streets, the Queens went in for a competition, and I won it. The winner of the competition was going to present the Queen with a posy of flowers when she visited Bootle. I just couldn't believe it. I mean, how many 12-year-old girls, you know, get to meet the Queen?
As the Queen neared the end of her visit, it was finally time for Pat's big moment.
It was nerve-wracking because, I mean, you can see her coming up and you're just standing there and watching her come, and I'm thinking she's getting nearer and nearer. And I was thinking to myself, don't forget to say Your Majesty, don't forget to say Your Majesty. It was terrifying at that moment in time. And then as she got nearer and she came over and I gave her the flowers and I curtsied, and then she asked me which street I was from, and I said Smith Drive. It was a relief when it was over. Can't believe I actually met the Queen all them years ago.
The Jubilee celebrations reached fever pitch on the 6th of June 1977, as Britain had a right royal knees up.
Music is a world within. There were parties across the nation. Each town, each village had running races and fetes and fancy dress. It really was a moment when the nation really forgot its troubles.
Across Britain, there were sports days and fancy dress competitions, and all caught on film as the nation got out their cine cameras to record the historic events. One of the street parties captured on film was held here in Erdington in the West Midlands. Jim and Pauline Bocott remember it well.
We couldn't wait for the Jubilee. We started a week before putting up the streamers. My daughter was chosen as the Queen, so before we started we had to crown them.
That was the football game between the parents and the children. Makes me feel very old.
There's me in my hot pants. Oh, don't show that. I'm running down the road. We just had so much fun.
Pauline and her neighbours were even featured on the local news.
You've been the main organiser, haven't you?
One of them.
You all ought to give the Queen some kind of a tribute. Are you going to give me one chorus of the national anthem?
Yeah. God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen. God save our
special because I can see my mother there, and that brings back a lot of memories, you know, watching her and how she's enjoying it. And to see my children, that's my son and daughter there. It's a little sad for me because I lost my son when he was 30. To look back and see him here, it is a good memory for me. It is emotional, but it's good.
A 100 miles away in the north of England, a very different community was coming together in celebration. The village of Fearby in the Yorkshire Dales. On the day of the Silver Jubilee, this normally peaceful part of the world witnessed the biggest party in its history.
I've never seen anybody in the village get together like they did that day.
We just wanted to do something to celebrate. I can still see the floats coming down the village now. Everybody really went to town and made a real effort to do something.
Back in 1977, John and Veronica McCourt ran the village pub. Son Sean has since taken on the family business.
For a 13-year-old guy, it was the biggest party I'd ever been to. The build-up for me really was helping build my father's clown outfit. We had a lot of fun decorating and putting this face paint on and what have you, so that's the real fun memory of that time.
Everybody just took part. It was absolutely fantastic.
This home movie footage of Fearby's Jubilee celebrations was shot by local cinefilm enthusiast Arthur Nunn. For 2 decades, the film gathered dust in a cupboard before being handed over to the Yorkshire Film Archive. Many people in the village never even knew it existed, until now. "35 years on, the bunting is flying once more in Fearby. As the Queen's Diamond Jubilee approaches, a special screening is being held in the village hall.
The film footage has put a big buzz into the village, certainly with those people that were there. If they're selling tickets, I'm sure the village hall wouldn't be big enough.
We didn't really know that this footage had been taken, film or anything. Because it'd be nice just really to remember it all again.
Well, it'd be nice to see my dad, because my dad's no longer with us, and so it'd be nice to see him on some footage. I can see here he's dressed in like a suit with a cap on, a conductor's cap on. That's me.
I'm just looking forward to seeing my father, really. He's a little ill at the moment, and in those days he was very, very well, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in the way that I remember him.
Also here is Liz Eastman. It was her late father who filmed Fearby's special day.
He realised the importance for history as much as anything, and for people to know. It's much remembering who my dad was.
Wouldn't have missed it for all the world. Really enjoyed it. I like those big knickers Mary was hanging up. That brought memories back.
We were the 2 little girls in a sledge with flowers all around the outside. I think we won the fancy dress competition.
There were some lingering shots of my dad, which was quite good. It brought a lump to my throat.
John McCourt wasn't well enough to make the screening, but the film brought back many happy memories for his wife Veronica and son Sean.
I'm sure if he has the opportunity to see the video, seeing himself feature on there, it'll just bring back a lot of great memories for him, as it did for me, and I'm sure for Mother.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, some wonderful memories.
Yeah, it was so good to see him as seeing him as the clown. That was the person he was right up to 6 months ago.
Hopefully he's going to be stronger shortly, and he's certainly going to see the video, and that'll lift his spirits a little bit.
You know, these things are worth recording and worth being involved in, because in years to come, they're of value to lots of people for lots of different reasons. My dad would have just been so pleased to be here and to know it had been used again and that people had enjoyed seeing it.
From historic cinefilm to footage caught on mobile phones, home movies have provided a snapshot of what the Queen means to the people of the United Kingdom.
She has been a bedrock of stability, I think, throughout the great changes that we've experienced in the 20th century.
These films also captured a unique moment in the lives of those who met the Queen, a moment none of them will ever forget.
Owning a piece of footage that you've shot of the Queen is a fantastic thing to have. It's a piece of history that's yours, but also, if you share it, it's a piece of history of the nation.
Well, as the long bank holiday weekend continues, it's the special service of Thanksgiving for the Queen's Diamond Jubilee tomorrow from St Paul's Cathedral. Our live coverage starts at 8:30 in the morning. Tonight, though, James Bond heads to Bolivia on the trail of a dangerous environmentalist out to wreak havoc. Daniel Craig stars as 007 in Quantum of Solace. Our film at 9.